That's easy. That's it. Bro, that's too easy, man.
That's too easy, Jay. I don't know. SGA kind of good, Jay. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy, Jay, he's over there in the six. How you doing, my dog?
Doing great, Jay. I'm back to be. We back in the building. We back with another great episode, man. Took some time off, but we're going to explain that to you right now, man. But great to see you again, brother.
Yes, sir, brother. Like how you said, man, we did have to take some time off. Unfortunately, Jay, they don't want to see us winning out here, Jay. They don't want to see us winning. The day after Christmas, Jay, we were supposed to record our Christmas special episode, talk about all these great games. And what happens, Jay? The Wi-Fi goes down, so your boy can't even record. So then we would try to record on the 27th. Then the computer goes down, Jay. Everything is just working against us. But you know what, Jay? That don't matter because we here. We push through. We here to give a fire episode. It's the new year, Jay. I'm not even going to talk about things that are past. I'm not even going to talk about 2021, Jay. It's January 2nd, 2022. Let's get it, Jay.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't even say that, man. Happy New Year's, brother. And to all our listeners, happy holidays. Because we said this, we had originally recorded that episode as well. We just weren't able to get that up due to all those technical difficulties. But man, yeah, happy New Year's, happy holidays. It's 2022, man. And like we said on our post, man, Clutch Talk coming different this year, but the same at the same time. Like you heard what LaMelo said, man. New year,
same me,
but same me, same us, man. Just doing what we do, man.
Yes, sir, Jay. Always bringing that fire content, man. So, like how we always say, Jay, let's get all the small talk out the way and let's get into the hoop talk, man. As long as all the fans have already liked, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram in the description down below, then we can just get straight into it. You ready to talk about some hoop, Jay?
Absolutely, as always, man.
Let's do it, Jay. So today we're going to start with, we usually start with the up or down segment. We're going to go a different direction today. It's the new year, so we're going to do a little something different, Jay. We're going to start with a different segment. We're going to start with the Would You Rather segment. So I got a couple of Would You Rather here statements for you, Jay. You let me know what you're feeling, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it, Jay. First statement I got here is, which rebuilding position would you rather be in? Would you rather be in the Pistons rebuilding position, which is the last in the East, or would you rather be the Rockets rebuilding position, which is last in the West?
Man,
it's terrible choices.
Those are two tough choices, two like bottom of the barrel teams. But after what I just saw in Houston last night, and let's talk about what we heard last night, Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood. What happened at halftime? Steven Silas said he goes into the locker room. The Rockets are down a lot to the Nuggets at home. Steven Silas comes in, gets on the guys. First of all, Christian Wood missed a mandatory, I think it was protocol his check-in before the game. He gets benched to start the game. And then Kevin Porter is getting on him. Their assistant coach is getting on him. He stays in the locker room. He leaves the building, says, I'm done with the team, leaves the Toyota Center, and he's on his way, man. And that just sounds like, number one, and then they tried to sub in Christian Wood to start the second half. He didn't want to play, so he didn't play at all. The coach said it was, a coach's decision not to play him, but we know that's BS after what all the reports and stuff like came out like that after the game, Jay. So judging all the turmoil and the things that have gone on, along with John Wall still not being able to play and saying they want to go with these young guys. If you're going to go with the young guys, then fine, go with the young guys. But if you're going to have all this stuff going on, all this non-basketball stuff, guys leaving the building, your young guys that you've put all this promise to in Kevin Porter Jr., then I don't want to be the Rockets, man. And then you look at a team like the Pistons flipping it to their side. Man, huge win last night against the Spurs. You've seen that dagger from, I believe it was Sadiq Bey. Who hit that shot? Yep. Sadiq Bey, who's rolling, playing great basketball of late. Hamidou Diallo's playing great with all those guys they got out right now. And Cade Cunningham, man. I feel like Cade Cunningham, if we're going to go to the draft picks, and we already talked about this when our episode way back with Lance, maybe that was a few weeks ago, Jay. But we talked about Jalen Green. I think he's the worst. Even if you go all the way to Kaminga at the seventh pick, the top seven picks, I would say I'd be the most worried out of all those seven picks, including Josh Giddey and Jalen Suggs. I'd be the most concerned if I were the Rockets about that pick. And I'm really assured with Cade Cunningham being their number one guy in Detroit. So I'd rather be Detroit, even though they got the worst record. To answer that question in a long fashion, man. But that's how I'm feeling, Jay. How about you?
And I'm right there with you, Jay. You know, I really did think that the Rockets had something special going with all these young guys. But now when as I've been watching the Pistons throughout this season, they're just really as much as you can put it together for the last place team, they're putting it together for a last place team. Yeah, Cade starting to look good. But like how you said, Jay, I think the biggest problem is the Rockets, dog. Like this is Kevin Porter's second time fighting with his team. I remember he got kicked out the league for a little bit because he like threw a chair at some of the I think it's some assistant coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So yeah, Jay, I'm right there with you. The Rockets right now, it's looking messy. It's looking turmoil. It's not just basketball, man. It looks like some personal drama going on over there. It's just turmoil that I don't want to have anything to do with it, Jay. So I'm right there with you with the Pistons on that one.
Yeah.
But all right, Jason, what's up?
Yeah, no. And one more thing is like you can be a losing team and have like be in a rebuild mode, but you want to have good losses and you want to be in a culture that's kind of creating and building up guys. Whether it's you have losses. You're losing, you're undermanned, you're outmatched every game. But if you have the mentality and that go hard culture, like Dwayne Casey's creating there in Detroit, that's what you'd rather be with in the future. So that's why we're feeling them. Just to explain that.
To learn from the losses, right, Jay? You know what I'm saying? Not just take a loss, learn what you did, next game bounce back, man. The Rockets not doing that right now, Jay. So, all right, Jay. So let's kick it to our next statement that I have here. All right, Jay. Which role player would you rather have on your team, Mikal Bridges or Tobias Harris? Ooh, it's tough.
Oh, that's a tough one, man. Role player. So we're calling Tobias Harris a role player. Yeah, I would say he's a role player.
I would say
for what he does because he's a supplementary piece to the star, which is Joel. I'm gonna go with just in terms of what defensively Mikal Bridges does and brings to the Suns. I feel like he's the better, more versatile role player because he's gonna guard and pick up your best guy, and then even on the offensive end. His numbers are down to his standards. He's not shooting the ball as well as he did last year. But in terms of the two and giving me more defensively, and you're feeling him every night. If you're the other team's best player, ask Stephen Curry, ask guys who have been guarded by him, throughout the season, throughout this past 2-3 years that he's been real, one of the premier 3-and-D guys in the league. I would rather have Mikal Bridges, and he was a huge reason why they made the finals last year and picked up 2 games against the Bucks. So I'm gonna go with Mikal Bridges on that. But you got Toby or Mikal?
Yeah, I'm right there with Mikal, Jay. You know how I feel about him, man. I think he's just the best role player in the league right now, man. Just can give it to you everywhere on the court and doesn't get ahead of himself. He understands that he's not out there to score 25, so he's not trying to put up 20 shots a game, man. He knows his role. And I think that's the best thing with these role players, Jay. But all right, Jay. So then let's keep it pushing, Jay, to the next statement that I have here is which young star would you rather have on your up and coming team, SGA or Ja?
Ja. That's too easy, man.
That's too easy, Jay. I don't know. SGA kind of good, Jay.
I mean, SGA is good, but I mean, Ja's just different. And in terms of, he's given effort on both sides of the floor. Not to say SGA isn't, but I mean, his team's also winning. He's creating that culture. And I also would say, and I saw this comparison as well. Like if I'm talking about young backcourts in the league and just even premier backcourts in the West, I love Desmond Bane and Ja Morant, and Ja's the one half of that. And I think that Ja, just in terms of the potential, his rub off effect, and what he can do, what he brings to his teammates, playmaking wise, I'm more comfortable just giving the nod to Ja. Not to take anything away from Shea. He's a great player as well, but I got to see those wins first before I'm able to go with you and choose you as a younger player that I'd rather have in the future, right?
Okay, and honestly, I respect that, Jay. And I was even talking to Junior about this over the weekend. I was saying, okay, SGA or Ja, and Junior said the same thing. He thought about it for a second. He's like, wait, what? No, Ja, clearly. But I just and I would go with Ja too. I really would. But I just don't think it's as clear as people kind of make it out to be, because SGA is a star, man. I'm gonna talk about him a little bit later in the episode, but he is a star in the making. And I think that if you could get some better pieces around him, he could do a lot, man. But I have to end up agreeing with you by going with Ja. So,
okay.
All right, Jason.
I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see what you got for that. Because I don't know. I mean, I said it right away. I was like, oh, Ja, easy. Mm-hmm. But, if you look at the numbers and what he's just done in games and the shots he makes, the plays he makes, the confidence he has in himself and his teammates have in him, it's not as clear cut as people make it. You're right about that, though.
Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely. All right, Jay. So let's kick it to our last would you rather statement. This one's good. This one's juicy, Jay. Would you rather be in the Nets Kyrie Irving situation, or would you rather be the 76ers in the Ben Simmons situation?
Man, that's both. That's both terrible. Both are terrible situations, man. But which would I rather be in? Like, which team would I rather have?
Be the GM of?
Yeah. I would say right now is Kyrie, the Nets situation. I mean, first of all, you're the number one team in the East, or were until I guess yesterday. You're the second team. Yeah, you're the top team. Man, the Bulls are rolling, by the way. But yeah, no, your top two team, top one team, and you have been for most of the season. Obviously, he's coming back and he's playing basketball. Honestly, that's a big thing. Like, he's playing basketball. He's going to be, even if he's playing half the games, you guys sold your soul to let him play. As we talked about on the last episode, but he's back. He's playing basketball. Ben Simmons still hasn't played a game, so I'd rather be in a situation where I have my star player playing half the games, playing some basketball at least.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. Yeah, I mean, the Ben Simmons situation, honestly, in my opinion, has got to be just one of the worst, like, player to team interaction that's going on with the team. Like, they both are just being hard headed. It's a stalemate. Yeah. Ben won't go back. Daryl Morey won't trade him for anything less than what will take him to the number one seed again, because they were the number one seed last year. And with Kyrie, you're at least getting, like how you said, you're at least getting him for some of the games, and that's better than nothing, man. So I'm right there with you, Jay. So we got all agreements on this would you rather segment. All right, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy. So let's kick it to the next segment, Jay. In this segment, we tried to introduce this on the previous episode, but like I said, the world is trying to hate on us, Jay. They wasn't trying to have it go up. So we're gonna introduce it for the first time, Jay. This is the red, yellow, green segment. This is how this is gonna work, Jay. I'm gonna list the top 8 teams from each conference, West and the East, and you're going to rank how urgently they need to be looking to make moves, whether it's through trades, buyouts, just making roster constructions, whatever it is. Red means stop, don't do nothing. You're good where you are. Yellow means proceed with precaution. Green means you need to do something yesterday. You've been needed to do something. So are you cool with that, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it. This is a fun ass game. Let's get it.
Let's kick it. Let's kick it off with the East Coast, Jay. First team we got, like you said, the number one seed, Chicago Bulls. What are they?
Jay, we had been going back and forth on some text messages, and what I had said to John for those of our listeners is, I said to him, the championship window opens and it closes so fast. So you look at a team like the Bulls, a team who's playing the best basketball that they've played in years. I mean, you might even say past the Derrick Rose MVP years to the man himself, MJ, who I consider the GOAT. I know, John, you don't consider the GOAT, but we're not even gonna get into that. So that's a while back. That's like, what, 24, 25 plus years? Like, as long as I've been on the earth, Jay. So if you look at it and you say, right now, you're playing the best basketball. You got DeMar DeRozan playing at a career level. You got Zach LaVine also playing the best basketball of his career. You brought in that tandem. You got Lonzo Ball. You got added Alex Caruso in the offseason. You got Nikola Vucevic as your star center that you made in the trade deadline last year. Why not maximize that championship window and bring in a guy like Jeremy Grant, who I brought up to John, and
You
who I brought up to you in that conversation where I was saying, what about Jeremy Grant? You trade Patrick Williams, who I know the Chicago Bulls are a huge fan of. That they believe he's the future. You know, they spent a fourth pick in the first round of 2 years ago and invest in their future in him. I know they're going to be very hesitant to make that deal, but I just think of it in a way that you got to maximize that potential, even if it's bringing in Miles Turner as a center. But we've seen what Vucevic has been doing lately. He's playing at great basketball, what they had envisioned when they brought him in from Orlando. So I'm just thinking of it like it's a yellow for me. On even when you asked me on the last question, I did some more time to ponder and take in that to account. You know, that window, how fragile that window is. Like it could get cracked at any time, and it's not the right opening you want. You want it to be opened and intact, right? So that championship, you got to maximize it. I think bring in Jeremy Grant. So I'm even say Green. I'm gonna say make that deal, make a deal that's gonna put you as a contender, as the team who's gonna be for sure in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then, as we've seen, anything can happen. You're a roll ankle away from winning a championship or being in a championship. Because right now, as it sits, I don't think they're a better team than Brooklyn with Kyrie playing half the games. For sure, I don't even think with Harden and a healthy KD, I don't think they're better. They're beating them in a 7-game series in the playoffs. And I don't think they're beating Milwaukee in a 7-game series as it sits come May, come June. So right now, I think they got to make a move to maximize that window championship to be a contender.
And if they brought in a player like Jeremy Grant and let go of Patrick Williams, you would feel more confident having them beating the Bucks and the Nets in the 7-game series?
I wouldn't go as far. I would say you have a better chance. Yeah, okay. I would say you have a better chance to beat those guys. Because as it sits, I don't think defensively they're good enough. To beat those guys. So you're right. So Jay, like you got to maximize and get the best offensive capabilities you can. I think Jeremy Grant does that if you bring him in. So.
Yeah, Jay. Honestly, I'm right there with you. That was a great argument, and even the other day when we were texting about it, and you had brought up that championship window, and I totally agree. They have a small championship window. They need to take advantage of it. They cannot let this slip up. They're playing some historic basketball right now. I don't think anybody had the Bulls sitting at the number 1 seed, right? But I don't know if I'm ready to give up on Patrick Williams, man. I really like the player that he is and the fit that he is on that Bulls roster, man. The Bulls, they got their scores. They got people to put the ball in the basket in all types of ways. DeMar, Zach, I would say are 2-3 level scorers. Lonzo Ball, I wouldn't go as far as say he's a 3-level scorer, but he can definitely get his. Alex Caruso, definitely a great role player. Vucevic, definitely a 3-level scorer. Now Patrick Williams can fit that gritty, I'm just going to play defense role, which I would love on there for him. But I mean, I have to agree. I have to agree that Jeremy Grant, as of today, as of January 2nd, 2022, is a better player than Patrick Williams. So it would right now make the Bulls better, but I just don't know if that fit, man. I just really like that fit of Patrick Williams. The only player I'm thinking for the Bulls to bring in, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, Miles Turner, only because the Pacers are looking to rebuild. Give them some young players. Patrick Williams is a young star. Give him some other young stars. Give him some draft picks. And then now you got that rim protection that they know they vitally need, man. You bring in a great defensive player like Miles Turner to plug in that middle, and that plugs it all up. And that's just what you were talking about. Remember in the beginning of the season, Jay, you were like, "Yeah, I like the team, but the rim protection scares me," and that's what it is right now, man. But all right, Jay. All right, so the Bulls is a lot, Jay. I like the Bulls a lot, man. But
the Bulls are nice. Hey, they're
nice.
Squad, so.
They're nice, Jay. But all right, so let's keep it pushing and let's talk about the number 2 seed Brooklyn Nets. Green, yellow, or red, Jay?
I'm thinking it's red for them. Like they don't got to make any moves. You just need Kyrie playing. If he gets the vax and plays all the games, I think you're in the finals for sure. Yeah. A lock for me. No one's beating with those 3 healthy. And then they've already shown. I think I love the addition of Patty Mills in the offseason. Nick Claxton, we've seen what his versatility can do as a defender. I think you got your big right there, the big that they've needed. in the rim protection, a guy who can stretch, come out and guard you on the perimeter. And then we know he's a rim protector as well. And we'll get into it a little bit, but I think rim protecting to a fault can be kind of overrated in terms of if a big man like a Rudy Gobert, who when I was watching Warrior game, like we'll get into that as well when I break down what I saw in that, but it can be overrated in a sense if he can't switch out and guard, but you got a big who can switch out and guard almost 1 through 5, or at least stay with guys. And Nick Claxton, which is hard to say and hard to find. Like honestly, you look around the league, I can only think of like Bam and maybe that's it.
That's it.
Maybe a few more, but it's far and few between those guys who can step out. So I'm thinking Brooklyn, you don't got to make any moves, man. Just get those 3 playing, 2 at least playing all the games, then maybe have Kyrie, and you still got a really good shot to be in the finals for sure. So
yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. Red, you just got to get Kyrie Irving back, and things will get rolling, man. So let's keep it pushing, Jay. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks also red for me, I think. But I will say this: I think when we talked about when you asked me this on the last one, I think that they're kind of missing PJ Tucker more than I think they envisioned that gritty guy. Bobby Portis, he's still a dog, and I think PJ Tucker actually brought a lot about that out of him. You know, Bobby Portis isn't the most outspoken guy, but I think PJ Tucker brought a little more of that beast outside of him, and we saw that in the playoffs last year of what really he could do when he's in his bag and playing with that kind of authority. But I think they still added a lot of guys. You know, they re-signed or they brought in Grayson Allen, you know, a shooter. And I think, Semi Ojeleye, other guys. But I think they're going to be really missing Brook Lopez, who I think is a very underrated what he brought to that team. You know, a 3-and-D big who can stretch the floor,
who never plays,
who never plays
fantasy.
But yeah, man. But Jay, when he's healthy and he's playing, man, he does wonders for the Bucks, and I think they're going to be missing him. But that being said, kind of just to contradict myself, but just to say, I don't think they need to do anything, man. They got that DNA.
I'm right there with you, Jay. They just made it to the championship last year. Yes, they lost PJ, which was a vital part, but you know they were able to bring in some other pieces, and they're on a 6-game winning streak right now. So let's keep it pushing, and I got them for red. So then the next team we got, Jay, is the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, red. I think they made their additions. They brought in PJ Tucker and they brought in Kyle Lowry, you know, championship winning guard, a dog, the pit bull man himself. So I think the Heat are one of the deepest teams in the league, and they still don't even have, and that's without Victor Oladipo. So if he plays basketball this year, man, they're so deep. That hashtag Heat culture, man, just got to get all those guys back. But it's a red for me.
Red like the Heat, Jay. Ain't no way. They had a really good offseason, man. But all right, Jay. So how about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Your number 2 team.
Oh man. Respects and Ricky Rubio, man. That's a huge loss.
Prayers up to Ricky, man.
Yeah, prayers out to Ricky Rubio having a historic, it's not historic, but just a career year for him. A great season. One of the best of his careers, but you hate to see a guy go down, like especially a non-contact, man. But hope he gets healthy. I know it was his contract season too, so hopefully he's able to find a team who still needs his services too. If it's not even the Cavs, maybe they get him at a discount now too. So, but I think it's kind of a yellow. You maybe have to make a move, but you're still sitting in the 4th seed. You brought in Rondo. I think that was huge. They needed to do that to have him run that second unit and play some of those minutes with Garland in the backcourt as well. So you need maybe make a move, but it's Isaac Okoro time, man. It's those young guys that they brought in. Evan Mobley needs to take it up to another level, which we've seen him do, man. He's next level, dog.
He's next level, dog.
He's better than anyone. I think anyone that we predicted for sure. If he stays healthy, rookie of the year, no doubt, in my opinion. And there's a reason they're the best team out of those top 5 seeds or top 5 picks. He's on the best team, and he's a huge part of that reason for success. So I'm like a yellow red, like right in between that,
Yeah,
probably just a yellow, just for say that.
Honestly, I'm right there with you, Jay. Only reason why I would really go yellow because like they can make some changes and get their roster better on paper, but I mean, I did not have the Cavs that sit at the 5th seed. I didn't even have them sitting at the top 6 seed, right? And for them to be to be in the 5th seed, it's because they have something going. They have a camaraderie going. They have chemistry going, and you don't want to mess that up. One little trade, one little move can just ruin everything. So I'm right there with you, Jay. I would say go yellow. What's up?
With that being said, would you give up Colin Sexton? If a team comes to you and you're getting like a supplementary piece, obviously you're not going to get a star in return for Colin Sexton right now. I don't even think before, honestly, but would you, if they come knocking on your door saying, hey, we want Colin Sexton, we'll give you a Patty Mills, just for example. Brooklyn's not giving him up just for namesake.
Okay.
I'm a caliber player like that, role player.
Okay, man, that's tough. Honestly, I think I am only with Colin Sexton, just because I want to give all the minutes to Darius Garland. I want the one to be Darius Garland. And I mean, I want Darius Garland to run that 1 or 2 and then have like a Ricky Rubio or Rondo point guard, which is a pass first point guard. Get the ball in Darius Garland's hand. And Colin Sexton, I like him a lot. He's a dog. I love the grit in him, but he just takes the ball away from Darius Garland a little bit too much. And with his inefficiency, I think I'd rather keep the ball in Darius Garland's hand. So to answer your question, yes, I'd trade Sexton for a good role player.
Okay. And then John, so you got that. So you'd be more, if you're Cleveland, you're more willing to do it than to trade Colin Sexton than if you're Chicago and have to trade Patrick Williams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to get it. I would say you'd get more for Patrick Williams.
I think you get more too. Yeah.
But you'd be more willing if you're the Cavs.
Yeah, I'd be more willing to let go of Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Okay. All right, Jay. So then let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about the number 6 seed, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers.
76ers is green. I mean, obviously, you got to get rid of Ben Simmons. You got to get someone in return. You need someone playing basketball there. They're a better team, in my opinion, with Ben Simmons, but he's not going to play there, I don't think. I think people are saying it's reparable, but I don't think he's going to play there. I think that bridge has burned. That table has turned. So
I don't think we'll ever see Ben Simmons in a 76ers uniform ever again.
You need something else for him. Maybe it's that DeJounte Murray trade. Like
Jay, you got to say it, Jay. Actually, you got to say it because the last episode got scratched. So you got to say it, Jay. You got to tell the fans about that DeJounte Murray trade, Jay.
Was it scratched? I think we.
Or was it the one? Was it the one before?
Yeah, I think it was the one before. I think.
Okay. Never mind. Yeah, you got it out
there. You heard. Yeah, if y'all haven't heard that, we talked a lot about that DeJounte Murray for Ben Simmons trade. I don't really know if San Antonio at this point would be really willing to do that, but we'll see, man. I think you got to be Sixers got to be open to that, man.
Absolutely.
But it's green. Yeah, it's obviously green.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Green beam, man. So, all right, let's go to the number 7, Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets, it's a green. I think they need to bring in a rim protector, a guy, just an upgrade for Miles Plumlee. I think that's their only deficiency, especially come playoff times and making a run to at least, the first round, second round. They need to bring in a guy like Miles Turner. Honestly, that's the name that they got to be targeting if you're the Hornets. And they got pieces. They got pieces to give away. I'm looking at a PJ Washington, James Bouknight type of guy, type of deal to bring in a guy like Miles Turner. And the Pacers said they're open to a rebuild. We don't know if that's still the case. Maybe that was just talk at the time to push and motivate those guys, but we'll see. I think the Hornets got to make a move to make themselves a little better and to be able to compete there in the East, which is stacked and deep now, as ever, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. Mason Plumlee is unfortunately not going to cut it when it comes playoffs, and if it's the Bulls and the Hornets going after Miles Turner, I think the Hornets have a lot more to offer the Pacers than the Bulls do, as far as if that's what you want to do. Like how you said, if you want to rebuild, the Hornets got everything you need and much more, man. So I'm right there with you, Green. Let's give Miles Turner. Let's get a real center in Charlotte, man. But all right, Jay. So then for the last team in the East here is the Washington Wizards. Green, yellow, or red?
I'm kind of like on the yellow fence there. Just in terms of you got to figure out what you're doing with Bradley Beal. If you're going to compete and you want to make a run in the playoffs, you make all those pieces, you make all the moves in order to do so. And you believe that, he's going to stay there in the future. You believe that he actually will stay and re-sign with them. Then you have to make the moves that are going to reflect that. But if not, I think you got to look to ulterior moves, like such as, bringing in a guy like Jaylen Brown. I don't know, some deals with Boston. Maybe you're looking to Dallas and seeing what their interest level is like. But you just got to figure out what your future is with Bradley Beal. So I gotta think of it as a yellow for me. You're not forced to make that move. It's not a green go ahead, but you definitely got to consider it to be something of a truth, like what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. We talk about it all the time in the NBA. There's that purgatory where you don't want to be, where you don't know where you're going. Are we rebuilding or are we trying to compete? And right now, if you ever have a player like Bradley Beal on your team and Spencer Dinwiddie, you're definitely not rebuilding, but you're probably not winning a championship. You're going to need a little bit more than that. You're probably not going to make a deep playoff push. So yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. They're in that yellow zone to where you don't have to make a decision right now, but you definitely should decide what you're going to do moving forward, man.
Right.
All right, Jay. Right. So let's kick it to the West Coast, Jay, and let's talk about your team, the Duh Nation, Jay, number 1 seed right now in the West. Jay, red, yellow, or green?
It's a red. We know what that phrase is. Man.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Yeah. What about the Phoenix Suns?
Phoenix Suns, also a red. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Another deep team. Championship run last year. Don't even need to fix anything. What about the Utah Jazz? Great game yesterday against the Warriors. Yeah, Utah Jazz. We'll talk about that later. I just don't know what they can bring in. Yeah, so it's a red. You built that team in the offseason. You've been building that team for years now, probably like 4 since you brought in Conley, 3-4 years now. So you just gotta pray on being healthy. Obviously, any team needs to be healthy, and I think they just need that whole roster healthy to see what they can do. And if it doesn't work this year, obviously you got to shake things up. But this is it's like make or break for them, honestly. That roster, I think this is the year that they got to make some noise and make a run to the championship, which is their goal. So it's make or break for them, but it's red in terms of deals that they can make.
I really like what you just said, and I literally 150% agree. If they don't make it to the championship this year, I think that you need to consider doing something with this team, because like how you said, like, I didn't even really think about that till now. Like, they've been working on this team for some time now. Yeah. And it's been playoff letdown after a year. So I think if it isn't a deep championship run, or like one of your best players gets hurt, then run it back. But if not, then you got to do something with this roster, man. But,
right.
All right, Jay. So yes, it's a red for the first 3 teams. And then what about the Memphis Grizzlies?
The Memphis Grizzlies. I'm still thinking red for them. I think you're an extremely deep team. They could make one other move and potentially makes them a little bit better, but I really don't think there's any move out there that's going to significantly make them better, where they don't have to give up a guy like Desmond Bane, a guy like Dylan Brooks, a young, budding piece. Like I said, I think Ja and Desmond are not only one of probably the best young backcourt duo in the league, but I think they're just one of the best backcourt duos in the league, period. So with that being said, and you got to give up potentially, I know a lot of teams are interested in a guy like Desmond Bane, a guy like Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson, but you don't want to give up any of those pieces. You're sitting at the 4th seed in the West right now, so there's no need to make any moves if you're Memphis, in my opinion. So how are you feeling on that? What's your temp?
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, Jay. You could definitely make some pieces and make them a better on paper roster. But dog, like fourth seed for the Memphis Grizzlies, then nobody expected, dog. They got the juices flowing, they got chemistry going. Don't mess that up. Keep that going. Red all the way. But what about the Denver Nuggets, Jay? Actually on a 3-game winning streak right now. Very impressive. What do you got on them?
Yeah, no, the Nuggets are playing great basketball. They've seen just another product of their culture and success and what their coach Mike Malone is leading that bunch, that gritty bunch, who once again have that next man up mentality. We saw what Facu Campazzo did last night, having a career night, and the rest of that bunch. And I think there's really not much you can do right now. You know, you got all those guys out. You got Michael Porter Jr. His health is in question right now. Obviously, you're waiting for Jamal Murray to come back potentially at the end of the season. So I think you really just got to weather the storm, stay afloat, which they're doing right now, sitting in the middle of the pack in the playoff seeds in the West right now. So you just got to continue to weather that storm, just make best of it with what you got right now, and then pray that those guys come back and are ready for when the playoffs come around. More likely Jamal Murray than Michael Porter. I don't really see him coming off of back surgery this season. But you just got to weather the storm till then. No real deals you can make.
Yeah, they got a scary good roster when they're fully healthy. So no deals, just like how you said, weather the storm. But all right, Jason, what's up?
That being said, though, here's where I talk about championship window. This was a team who was in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and we saw all the future and you know, the future so bright in Denver. They got all these guys. They got Michael Porter Jr. They got Jamal Murray. Future so bright, yada yada. And what do, Jay? You push that forward 2 years. Jamal Murray's out with the ACL tear. Michael Porter Jr. You sign him to that huge deal. In the offseason, he's coming back with back surgery. So it just goes to show you, if you're Chicago Bulls, you're all these other teams on that, like scratching at the championship window. If you got to make that deal, you consider a team like the Denver Nuggets, and you might be a little more inclined to make that deal. So that's why I talk about that championship
I
window
didn't even
closing.
think about that till now, Jay. Damn, they were right there. And like, yeah, if you were to look at them a couple of years ago, you'd be like, man, Denver's the next team up. They're the next dynasty. But look at them now. That's crazy, Jay. That was good. That was a good little correlation. All right. So then let's go to the 6th seed, the Clippers.
The Clippers, another team, can't really do much right now. We don't really know the health of PG right now. We don't really know how long. They said 4 weeks. We don't know how long they'll be out for. But we've seen them with a huge win against Brooklyn last night with pretty much G leaguers and a few of their starters. But I mean, you just got to stay afloat, weather the storm. There's really not much that you have in terms of trade pieces that are going to make you any better. You're just going to trade a role player for a role player or maybe some picks. So you wait to get your guy, you wait to get Kawhi back, you wait to get PG back and see what you can do there and see what you got in terms. And other than that, I think it's just red. Yeah. Not much you can do.
Yeah, you just got to weather the storm. You got your best 2 players out. You just got to weather that.
Yeah,
man. But what about the other LA team, Jay? We got the Lakers.
I think it's like green. They got to make a move. We've seen the historic year that LeBron is having right now, but I just look at it like it's just giving me very 2020, 2021 Steph Curry vibes, where his team just is terrible. Like low key, it's just terrible. I mean, the roster construction, it's not giving him a chance to win. I mean, he's putting up these historic numbers, and it's terrible because it's almost just for naught. I think right now the current roster construction that the Lakers have, in order for them to be relevant and even have a chance of winning in the playoffs, Anthony Davis and LeBron have to be playing at MVP level, the best of their career. LeBron is doing that right now, but we haven't seen the same from AD, and that's just to be having a chance to win, to take 2-3 games off a team, maybe even win, sneak and win maybe a first round matchup. But other than that, I don't see with this current roster construction them being anything better than that. And that's with LeBron playing at a historic level, especially at his age. That's way too much to put on him. He needs help around him. Is Kendrick Nunn going to come back and be the piece that they need? Maybe, but I don't really know. I'm not too sold on that. So it's Green. They need to make a deal, and they make a deal fast if they choose to compete. If that's what the front office wants to do, and in my opinion, you got to do that. LeBron's not getting any younger, man. You got to make a move. So it's Green. It's Green. They got to make a move.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. They definitely need to make a move on this.
But Green what?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, they need to make a move, right. But what? What are you gonna move? What other teams are interested on those players? So realistically, with you, what I think the move they need to make is make Anthony Davis start trying, put his ass on the grill, make him put some effort. Because besides that, honestly, there's just no really changes that. Like the only change they can do is cut players. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like cut players and sign Stanley Johnson. You know, that's really it. That's all they could do, man. Yeah. But all right, Jay. So then let's talk about the last seed in the West, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. Who you got? Red, yellow, green?
I'm thinking green. I think they got to make a move, bring in a second true kind of scoring option. I think KP's been playing great as of late, but I think they can add a guy like Bradley Beal, who I had said on the other end for Washington. You got to figure, is Bradley Beal going to be there for the future? I think you put Bradley Beal in a role like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s, where he's moving off the ball, he's getting shots, he's getting set up by Luka himself. That's a major upgrade, man. Seeing what he can do. We've seen his willingness to move off the ball as well, without the ball, cut, make plays that way. So you bring in a guy like that, and obviously that's a big splash trade. But even just another piece would be huge for the Mavericks. So I think they need to be kind of aggressive, and one of the teams who's out there shopping around to add another scoring piece and another guy who can take some pressure off Luka down the stretch of games, because we've seen him burn out. That's what happened against the Clippers last year in the playoffs in that first round. So he needs some help. He needs someone who can take that pressure off him, because we don't really know what we can expect from KP. He's been playing great of late, but is he going to burn out? Is he going to get injured? I don't know. I hate to use the word injury prone, but he's injury prone if we're going to use it, man. So obviously we hope for the best with health, but we can't predict it, man. We just look at the history, that medical history.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. Yeah, I would say green beam for the Mavs. Let's give Luka some help, man. A real scorer. I remember that I don't know if it was on episode or off air. You proposed that trade with getting Bradley Beal to the Mavericks, which I think would be deadly. It would be crucial. That would be so nice, Bradley Beal and Luka, man. But all right, Jay. So that was a fun little segment. Red, yellow, green. Nice little first time segment. We're gonna keep that on the show. But Jay, let's kick it to our next segment, and that's one of our favorite segments here, and that's the games. Jay, let's talk about some of the games we saw over the weekend. I don't know if you wanna kick it off, but if you're gonna talk about a game from last year, Jay. Talk about a game from last year, Jay. Talk about that Clippers versus Toronto Raptors game, because that game was a good game to watch, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about it. Obviously, if you're the Raptors, I think they came away with the 116-108 win, last game for them and the Clippers of the new year. This game, just off the jump, I felt like, it was going to go down to the wire. It was going to be kind of a close game. And it shouldn't have been. Obviously, the Raptors getting back Siakam, getting back, I believe OG Anunoby. It was his first game back from COVID protocols, and then he had got injured, previously in the year. So this was a game that they had to win. Coming back, they want to make a run to the playoffs. I think they got a good bunch. I think they're honestly talented enough. And then you push it to the Clippers side of things. They got all their guys out basically. Paul George, obviously we know that he has his injury. He's been out he's going to be out for extended amount of time, probably 3 to 4 weeks. But from the jump, I just seen the Raptors just playing great basketball, moving the ball, sharing the ball, getting shots, getting decently good shots We saw again, the playmaking of Fred VanVleet. I think he's putting together a solid campaign, just doing it on both ends of the floor, affecting the game defensively, making plays on offense, had 31 points, 9 assists, 2 steals. Obviously didn't shoot it well from the field, shooting 10 of 27. But when you look at a guy like Fred VanVleet, it's the way he rubs off and makes other players, gets them in the right positions to succeed. And that's exactly what his teammates were able to do. You look at OG Anunoby, Jay, scoring, putting up 26 on an efficient 8 for 16. And then you look at you look at Pascal Siakam going 10 for 20 from the field with 25 points and plus 22. Also playing great basketball. So, I mean, all the starters for the Raptors were plus. You got 4 guys in double figures in Pascal, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, and Gary Trent, man. That's just a recipe for winning. But then you look at to the other side, and the reason why it was so close, and you have 4 guys in double digits as well. Marquise Morris, a senior with 20. You got Reggie Jackson with 17, Terrence Mann with 18, and then Luke Kennard with 13. And then off the bench, you got Amir Coffey with 15, man. So that was a reason why it was so close and why it's undermanned roster like the Clippers were able to hang with them. And it just goes to show you, and a thing what I've been talking about, why the Clippers, I think they're going to be able to stay afloat, is because I just think they're an extremely deep team. And a lot of that was shown being able to have 5 guys in double figures, one of them off the bench with your star guy like Paul George being out. I think that's huge for them. And then it was the return game of Serge Ibaka as well. So just a big win, a little closer than I thought it should have been for the Raptors, especially at home, playing at that home court advantage, which really isn't a home court advantage, man, at Scotiabank, which had no fans in attendance. Besides, I think a few family members, I think 100 family members or something is what they said, man. But a big win there, 48%, And then last thing I'll say on that, field goal percentage for the Clippers was 48% compared to the Raptors 41. So anytime you can shoot 48% on the road, especially, and 44% from the 3-point line, you're going to be able to stay in any game. And that was a huge reason for success. But where they lost the game, in my opinion, was on the glass, where the Raptors out-rebounded them 54-37. And that's a losing rebounding when you're getting all those second chance opportunities, which the Raptors were able to create. So, Jay, that's just a little bit about that game, man. But I don't know if you have anything to add to that and what you saw.
Yeah, Jay. Honestly, I was tuning into that game because, as we all know, you're Toronto's finest. You're Toronto's ambassador. You know what I'm saying? So you told me the Raptors like, hey, Jay, make sure you check out that Clippers Raptors game. Raptors got their full squad back. I was excited. I hopped on the game to watch. And Jay, honestly, this is what you want to see from your so-called big 3 and Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam. Like you said, Fred 31, 25, and 26, just out there really doing it, man. And so the only thing I wanted to add is that's what you want to see. A lot of people were getting on the Raptors and saying that the Raptors aren't the team that they were projected to be after making that finals runs. But this right here shows you that they have that potential. Pascal Siakam, I definitely want to highlight his 19 rebounds, 7 assists, nearly had a triple double. So just like I said, Jay, great game for the Raptors, and that's honestly what you want to see as a Raptors fan. Your big 3 doing work, putting big numbers on good efficiency, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. All right, Jay. So then let me touch on one more game of last year, and then we could get into this year, Jay. So I want to touch on the Celtics and the Suns game. The Celtics beat the Suns 123-108, and honestly, that was just an extremely impressive Celtics team win. 7 of the 8 players who played, they only had 8 players who played in the game. 7 of the 8 scored 11 or more points with Jason Tatum out, and that's just something you love to see, man. You just love to see the team step up when your number 1 star is out, man. But before we really get into the entire Celtics roster, I got to give a big shout out to my guy, Rob Williams, man. First career triple-double, 10 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. 5 blocks on only 2 fouls. 5 blocks and only 2 fouls. I have to emphasize that because he is jumping for every block, and he's not just fouling people out there, man. He's actually contesting shots, getting blocks. He was 100% from the field. He's just an extremely efficient game for Rob on both sides of the ball, man. I mean, he was catching lobs at the rim. He was boxing out. He was just doing it all, man. So I want to give him a shout out because I know on the last episode I gave him a shout out because I was like, man, he was part of that Celtics and Nets trade picks. And then everyone said, oh, Rob didn't turn out to be anything, but now he's turned out to be a very efficient center in today's league, man. And as a matter of fact, late in the game, the Celtics going on an 18-2 run. As I'm watching, I'm watching Rob Williams not allow a single bucket in the paint for 3 whole minutes, Jay. So that right there, that's a game changer, man. That's a difference maker. Mm-hmm. But let's get into the Celtics, man. I mean, this is what you want to see from your second or third stars. Jaylen Brown, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Marcus Smart, 24 points, 9 rebounds. Both shot 80% from the free throw line. Both were extremely aggressive, getting to the line. Like I said, when Jason Tatum is out, that's what you want to see. You want to see your second to third stars step up, be there, be that number one guy. Josh Richardson kept the pressure on the defense the entire game. Shot 7 free throws, went 7-7 from the free throw line, 100%, 19 points. And I mean, just the role players. The role players had great contribution. Peyton Pritchard hit 3 threes. Romeo Langford, 16 points. Grant Williams, 15 points. Just the bench brought it, man. 46 points off the bench. And I mean, realistically, the Celtics just went ahead and took advantage of no DeAndre Ayton, no JaVale McGee to score a ridiculous 64 points in the paint. Just punished them in there, man. On the Suns side of the thing, I'll talk about the Suns a bit, but that was just a really bad game, man. It seemed like there was a lid on the basket, man. Booker was their highest scorer with 22 points on an ugly 26% from the field and 20% from 3, which is terrible. CP3, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. That's not a great game in CP3 standards. And the Suns role players who usually step up big in Landry Shamet and Cam Payne, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges all had my consideration a below average game, man. I mean, the Suns shot 39% from the field as a team. So it was very hard for the Suns to get anything going. But Jay, there's a silver lining in all of this, Jay. If you think everything is bad, no, there's one thing that's good. Jalen Smith, the third stringer, stepping up huge, 19 points, 7 rebounds, only had 1 block. But if you were really watching that game, it seemed like the man had like 5 or 6 blocks. He was just affecting every single shot out there. Shot 77% from the field, 100% from the free throw line. Honestly, Jalen Smith might have really just earned himself a permanent spot on the Suns roster or another roster, man. So just overall, a great game, Jay. I don't know if you were able to catch that one. If you want to add something or two on that, but if not, then we could keep it pushing too, Jay.
Yeah, you really covered it well. I mean, I just think anytime you got your main guy and you mentioned all those guys being out for Phoenix, your guy D Book going 7 for 26 from the field, man. That's just a killer, dog. And then you outshoot the Celtics by 17. But you go only hit 41 of your 100 shots. That's a lot of shots to take, man, by the way. And then you go 11 from 35 from the field, and then to 31%. And then the Celtics shoot 10 from 27 from the field with 31% from 3. Man, it's just hard to win that game. Any game that you shoot that poorly. And even if you're shooting 41%, man, that's actually a lot of shots to get up and to shoot that much. But I just think that you're not going to win a lot of games when you have that piss poor of a performance from your guy in D Book. So I think that was just a recipe for disaster for those guys, and a lot of the reason why they had lost, man.
Yeah, Jay. It was honestly, it was a huge recipe of disaster. But you know what wasn't though, Jay? The historic night that Wardell put up, Jay. Talk to us about that crazy historic game against the Utah Jazz, Jay. Talk to us about that.
Otto Porter Jr.
On the minimum.
Otto Porter Jr. On the minimum, man. The Golden State Warriors take down the Utah Jazz 123-116 in Utah. What a game. What a game that was, Jay. And a few things stood out to me. Number one, what I talked about, and we went back and forth on the last episode, which we obviously lost the episode, but this was just another case of the Warriors out with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Let's just say it is, because he's a starter for them. So without two starters, the Warriors come into Utah and are able to take out the Utah Jazz. And I just think they're the deepest team in the league, and just another case and point that we saw last night in Utah with 6 guys in double figures. A lot, and 2 of those that stood out to me. Number one, Jay, I just gotta say, Andrew Wiggins should be in Cleveland. Wiggs, man, draft day. Wiggins, this cat needs to be in Cleveland, man. He's playing at an all-star level, shooting at the highest clip of his career from the 3-point line at 43%, man. And then Otto Porter just outdoing, like you said, his minimum contract last night, going 9 for 14 from the field, 20 points last night, affecting the game offensively and defensively, getting to a spot with 3 steals, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, man, a near triple double, dog. And but this is just going through a game summary, and what happened there was just, we saw from the Warriors coming out with a hot start there. In the first half, leading by 14 points, I believe, there to end the first half. And then we saw the battle of the third quarter. 2 teams who are great, the Jazz being great in the third quarter this whole season, as well as the Warriors. But this season, the Jazz are first in third quarters scoring. And that's exactly what they did. They came out there in the third quarter just looking like a completely different team, ready to play, outscoring the Warriors 41-22 in that third quarter, and just went on a huge run there. And that was what got them the lead going into the fourth quarter. And it was what catapulted them. I think the Warriors just were scared after that, worried. And it's demoralizing when you're on the road, you miss a few shots. You get a few tough calls, which I thought the Warriors had tough calls against them. But just like any game, and especially on the road in the NBA, adding to the fact, not only that, but adding to the fact that all these officials that are in protocols, so you're getting G League officials, that just comes with the game. There's going to be calls that you get on the road that you may not get, and then there's some at home that you want to got that you're on the road. So that just comes with the game, man. So moving on to the fourth quarter, Warriors came ready to play, outscored the Jazz 37-25 by 12 in that fourth quarter. And that's just what the run that they went on to close the game, with guys like Otto Porter coming once again, hitting huge shots, Steph, Wardell hitting some huge dagger threes, setting records, making plays out there, doing it all again with 9 assists as well. We saw him struggling a bit to his standards in the first half, but then this is where I said was talked about earlier on the show about Rudy Gobert and the greatness of his defense. Obviously, he can affect the game in different way with his rim protection, Jay. But this is why I had said that, despite him being plus 10, man, I think that when you have a rim protector in today's NBA and you're looking to that drop coverage where they were dropping down a few times against Steph, and Rudy Gobert was dropping down because if he steps up, he's getting used, he's getting abused, he's getting blown by a guy with the quickness, or just any guard for that matter. So that's why I say, when you don't got a guy like a Nick Claxton or a Bam Adebayo who can at least stay with Steph for like 1-2 dribbles, maybe not the whole time, but at least a little better than a guy like Rudy Gobert, then you're just giving so much up when you're just letting a guy like Steph come off the 3 and get into rhythm and being able to pull up at the 3-point line without just a minimal to a late contest, man. That's just too much room and space. That's why I think that just that rim protection and not being able to stay out and jump out a little bit more onto that perimeter, I think it can be overrated to a degree. And I think that's why Utah just struggles, like you had mentioned, late in the playoffs to keep him on the floor, because as much as he gives you defensively and rebounding, obviously with 19 rebounds and 20 points last night, obviously an easy double-double for him. I think that it's just a liability having him there out at times, man. But let me talk about a little bit more about I saw Utah. Utah, another one of the deepest teams in the league. Not the deepest, because I think just personally, I think it's the Warriors. But we saw what they can do. We saw Royce O'Neal with 15 points, Bogdanovich. Bogey Bogdanovich. I don't even.
His name's hard to say.
Bojan Bogdanovich, yeah, with 20 points. 20 from Gobert, as I mentioned, 12 from Conley, 20 from Donovan Mitchell, and 20 from Jordan Clarkson. But what I saw a lot, obviously the Warriors were missing the defensively Draymond Green, the defensive player of the year, in my opinion. But where they were successful was to hold Donovan Mitchell from 4 from 19, a caliber of player from the field, man. Anytime you can do that, which just goes me to show you, like, as good as Draymond is defensively, that just shows you the depth of the Warriors and their defense to be able to hold a star like Donovan Mitchell, D-Mitch, the Spider, from 4 from 19, 20 points, -2 offensively. And then Mike Conley as well, 4 from 13. Those guys to some tough shooting nights, man. That's what keeps you in games. That's what wins you games, especially on the road in a raucous crowd, a raucous arena like Utah. So, man, that's just a lot of what I saw. And to close us out, man, get Andrew Wiggins to Cleveland, man. This dude's an all-star. He deserves it, bro. Like, just that's all I got to say about that game, man, Jay. But what do you have anything to add to that?
Historic game, Jay. Honestly, man, just one of those games that, like, if I could tell someone go watch a certain game, I would say go watch this game, dog. And if you don't got too much time on your hands, just start at halftime. Start at halftime, and you will see a historic performance from the Warriors and a great game. But let's talk about it. I really want to start, like how you said, Jay, on that Warriors defense. The defense was just top level. It's just top level, and it's extremely impressive when you are missing your freaking quarterback in Draymond Green, when you're missing James. Okay, I get James Wiseman is young. He's not the focal point of that defense, but he's not no scrub on that defense too. He's a big man who protects the paint. And for the Warriors to still step up like this, and what I want to highlight, and I know you talked about it, Jay, Donovan Mitchell had a bad game, 20 points. He went 4 of 19 from the field, 21% from the field, 22% from the free throw line. But what I really want to highlight is that it's not like Donovan Mitchell just wasn't hitting his shots. It's not like, they were going in and out. It's not like he was injured. No, he was getting his shots that he usually gets. Right now, this season so far, Donovan Mitchell is averaging 20 field goals per game. This game, he got 19 field goals. So he got the same amount of shots that he usually gets, but the Warriors defense was pressing on him and had made it so tough for him that he only was able to knock down 4, accumulating to that 21%. I just have to give a huge shout out to the Warriors defense on that. And then, Jay, I mean, let's get A. Wiggs to Cleveland, dog. I've been saying A. Wiggs is so good, dog. And I say every single time when I talk about the Warriors, when A. Wiggs gives contribution like this, it makes it practically really impossible to beat the Warriors, because you got players like Curry chipping in, you got players like Jordan Poole chipping in, you got Clay when Clay comes back, you got Draymond what he's going to do on defense. I'm a big Wiseman guy. I think when Wiseman comes back, he's going to be a huge monster in this league. And then you get a contribution from A. Wiggs, or you get a contribution from Otto Porter Jr. on a minimum. It's Otto Porter Jr. That's all you could ask for, Jay. Just honestly a great historic game. Huge ups to the Warriors, man, and shows why they're the number one defense in the league, man. With or without Draymond, they're doing it. It's a 1 through 15 type thing, man. So just shout out to the Warriors, Jay.
Yes, sir. No, big win, big game.
Big win, Jay.
Yeah,
that was a big win.
Sure.
But all right, Jay. So let's kick it. I'm gonna kick it to this last game that I want to talk about real quick, and that is the Bulls versus the Wizards. Wow, what a good game! DeMar DeRozan on a game winner, on a back-to-back game winner. The Bulls win.
Double D.
No, team, the Bulls win 120-119. I mean, and this is what you want from your Bulls big three. Vooch, 22 points, 12 rebounds. DeMar, 28 points, 9 rebounds. Zach LaVine, 35 points, 5 rebounds on 50% from the field and 58% from three. I mean, honestly, it's just looking like the Bulls. It's looking like the Bulls is the best. I mean, they are the best team in the East right now, but it's looking like they're playing like it, man. I mean, DeMar DeRozan just looks so comfortable out there, man. If he gets to if he's sizing you up, and gets to that little shoulder at the free throw line, it's over. It's over. It's going to be a bucket every single time. And then Jay, you talked about it earlier in the pod. You talked about that boy Kobe White, who I picked up on my fantasy. He has been stepping up huge since Lonzo and NAC's been out. This game, 20 points, 5 assists. 50% from the three and 50% from the field, 100% from the free throw line. But what I really want to highlight, Jay, is 0 turnovers. He was the starting point guard, played 37 minutes as the primary ball handler, and had 0 turnovers. That is extremely impressive in today's game, where the game is super up tempo, super pushing the pace. For him to be able to control the ball like that, control the pace, is impressive. And this isn't just a one-game thing. I mean, the last 4 games, he had 24, 17, 13, and 24. So just huge shout out to Kobe White, man. But I just want to talk about the Bulls real quick. The Bulls, they got dominated in that first half. They went down by 21 coming into that third quarter, but then had an impressive 34-point third quarter to come back into the game. But like I talked about in the beginning, I said DeMar hit that game winner at the end. That game winner was honestly showing his poise for the game, because he got the ball in the corner, pump faked one defender, had the patience to wait till he comes down, then went up, all with 3 seconds left, man. That was the crazy ending of a game. I just talked about in the Warriors game, I said, if you don't have much time in your hands, just go watch the second half. If you only have 10 minutes of your day, go watch the fourth quarter of this game and you will be mind boggled, dog. It was just crazy. Yeah. It was just crazy, man. And just real quick, before we get off the Bulls, I just want to give one quick shout out to, I don't know if I say his name right, but I think it's Ayo Dosuma. Man, he's going to, Ayo, it's Ayo.
Yeah. AO, yeah.
Yeah, shit, it's all the same. But yeah, so AO, whatever his name is, he is gonna be a real role player in this league one day, man. I mean, he didn't have the greatest game. I believe only had 4 points, but it's an intangible. It's the things that he's doing on the court that the stats don't count for, man. And then real quick, let's talk about the Wizards, because they also had a good game. Shout out Bradley Beal, shout out Kyle Kuzma. Bradley Beal, 27 points, 17 assists on 40% from the field. Kyle Kuzma, 29 points, 12 rebounds. But I mean, realistically, Bradley Beal needs some help out there, man. I mean, Kyle Kuzma brought it this game, but Kyle Kuzma isn't the most consistent player, and he isn't that consistent help for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was responsible for 65% of the Wizards' buckets, whether it came through points, whether it came through assists. So at the end of the day, Bradley Beal needs some help, man. But just real quick, before I get off on the Wizards, shout out the Wizards scoring 72 points in the paint. That's top of the line, man. And that goes into that point that we were talking about earlier with the Bulls having a lack of rim protection, man. But great game overall, Jay. I don't know if you want to touch on anything with that. DeMar's second winner back to back.
Yeah, man. No, D-ball. No, I mean, this cat's balling. Love to see it from DeMar. For sure, locked in, all-star starter for me, and which matter of fact, we will be releasing our starters that John and I have collaborative on to the fans, and I'll be on our IG account. So if you don't follow us on there, follow us over there at Clutch Talk Pod, man. But Debo is just playing at an historic level. Obviously, we seen that there was the first time that a player's hit back-to-back game winners on back-to-back days. So that's just historic stuff, man. But on the Wizards side of things, I'm just loving what I'm seeing from Bradley Beal over his last 5 games. He has averaged at least 5 assists in every game, at least 26 points, 27, 29, 37, 36, 26, and 30 points respectively, man. And then 2 double-doubles in those past 5 games. So he's playing at another high level. So like we had talked about with Washington, figure out what you're going to do with Brad. If you're going to keep him there. you're gonna move him, move him. I mean, a lot of teams are, maybe that sell high when like we talk about in fantasy, but nah, like this is real life and Brad's balling again. But no, can't say enough about guys stepping up. Like you said, Kobe White, for the Bulls on both side of things, and then Steve-O playing at a MVP caliber type season. You know what you're getting from Levine night to night. Vuce also stepping up as well. So you just got to love what you're seeing from the Bulls right now, and the level of basketball they're playing with it. And it just shows and indicates in the record they got right now and why they're sitting at the top of the East, despite having the guys in and out of the rotation and two huge rotation pieces in Alex Caruso and Lonzo. So having those guys out and be able to still be in the reason for that is, like you said, Ayo Dosunmu, Vooch, and Kobe White stepping up. So that's what you got to continue to do and keep doing, man. So a huge win for them in Washington, back-to-back buzzer beaters, though. You love to see it. And that just builds that team chemistry and camaraderie too. So I think they're going to look to keep it rolling, and we'll keep rolling.
Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely. And it's crazy to think that the Bulls just a couple weeks ago were getting games postponed because they didn't even have 8 players enough to go out there and play, man. So just big ups to the Bulls, and just shout out to them, man. But all right, Jay. Well, you know what segment comes next, Jay. You already know what time it is, Jay. This is one of our favorite segments over here, Jay. This is the player of the week, my boy. Do you have your play ready? If not, I got mine ready.
Jeez, yeah. I got a tough one, man. I mean, I know obviously it could go to DeMar. But I was toss up between Frederico VanVleet and Andrew Wiggins, man. But I'm gonna go with my guy A Wiggs, man, because I just think we need to make that push for that All-Star game. Maybe a little bit of bias take, but no, over his last 8 games, and obviously this includes the 2 that he played this past week because they had one postponed. But he's had 21 points per game, 4 rebounds, 49% from the field, 55 from 3-point line. And he's shooting 43%, like I said, a career high from the 3-point line on the season. So like Steph said, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but 22 should be in Cleveland this year, the way he's hooping. I'm going to keep pushing that, man. But that's who I got for the Clutch Clock Player of the Week, man. Who you got, Jay?
Yeah, Jay, I'm right there with you. Andrew Wiggins definitely should be in Cleveland for the All-Star weekend, man. But for the Player of the Week, I'm gonna go with who you. I'll be real, Jay. I'm just gonna be honest. I had somebody else, but once you said DeMar, I was like, holy snap! Why didn't I pick DeMar? Because DeMar, 28 points on the last 10 games, 28 points. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 83% from the free throw line, 71% from 3, and 48% from the field, man. So just honestly impressive. I just want to read off some, look, he had 28 on the Wizards, 28 on the Pacers, 20 on the Hawks, 35 on the Hawks, 24 on the Pacers. Just out there doing his thing, dog.
Inefficient too,
extremely efficient, Jay. So huge ups and huge shout out to DeMar winning the Player of the Week from on my end. But Jay, before we log off here, we haven't done it in some time, Jay. I need to get your predictions. You know what day today is. Today is Sunday, January 2nd. So we're gonna go with the predictions from Monday, January 3rd, when everybody will be hearing this. So Jay, you ready to run off some predictions?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All right, let's do it, Jay. So the first game of the night is going to be the last place Houston Rockets versus the Ben Simmons-less 76ers.
I'm going to go with the 76ers in that, man.
No, I'm going to go 76ers on that too, Jay. All right, so the next game, we got the Wizards versus the Hornets.
Wizards versus Hornets. I'm going to go with the Hornets in that one as well. I believe they're going to be getting Miles Bridges back, and they should be having almost a full roster there against the Wizards. So I'm going to go with the Hornets in that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Hornets on that one too, man. I believe that they are getting Miles Bridges back that game, so that'll be a big help for them. What about the Brooklyn Nets versus the Memphis Grizzlies?
Ooh, that's a great game.
It's a great game.
That's a great game. I'm gonna go with the Nets in that. I think they're gonna be upset and against that loss against the Clippers at home, especially. So I think they're gonna be ready for some redemption. But I think that's gonna be a very close game, and I would not be surprised if the Grizzlies are able to fight and win that out. But I'm still gonna go with the Nets and KD in that one. And
Okay.
Harden playing at a great level.
I gotta swerve, Jay. I gotta go with the Grizzlies.
Hey.
I know. John Morant and Desmond Bain love these games where they're outnumbered, where they feel like, oh, we're not supposed to win. This is when they step up. So I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies on that one. Mm-hmm. And then let's keep it pushing to the Bulls versus the Magic.
I'm going with the Bulls on that
one. Bulls on that one. All right.
No Magic in Orlando.
No Magic at all. And then let's keep it pushing to the Pistons versus the Bucks.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Fear the deer. Those are two kind of easy ones right there. But you never count anyone out in the league, but I'm counting them out.
I'm definitely counting them out. All right. So let's talk about the Jazz versus the Pelicans. Another count out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jazz in that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No chance.
All right. What about the Denver Nuggets versus the Memphis Grizzlies? Sorry, the Mavs.
The Mavs. Ooh, that's a great game. I'm gonna go with the MVP. I'm gonna go with Nikola Jokic and I wouldn't call it upset either. I just think the Nuggets are a better team than the Mavericks. So I'm gonna go with the Nuggets in that one.
I'm a swear, Jay. I'm gonna go with the Mavs. I got the other European and Luka gonna take over that game. So go with the Mavs.
He's back too.
He's back too. He's Luka Magic.
Yeah.
Hookah Doncic. But all right, Jay. So then let's talk about your Dub Nation versus the Miami Heat. Who you got on that one?
That's a great game as well. I'm gonna go with the Warriors. I know that Draymond Green was just cleared from COVID protocols and back at home. I know they're feeling that excitement from Clay returning possibly soon. So I think they're ready, they're motivated, and they're hungry. I'm gonna go with the Dubs in that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. I'm gonna go with the Dubs on that one too. I think that they're rolling. They feel how close Clay is. They feel Draymond Green coming back, and they're just gonna go ahead and take that one out. So what about the next game, Jay? And that is the Portland Trailblazers versus the Hawks.
I'm gonna go with the Hawks in that. I think just we've seen with the Lakers. I don't know at this point. I don't even know if the Blazers are tanking or
what they're doing.
Just playing that. Yeah, I don't know. They're getting Chauncey Billups back. Hopefully that helps them. I know he cleared COVID protocols, so I just hope they just were able to turn something around and play at least a little bit of basketball. But I'm still going with the Hawks in that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. I want to see
all that being.
I want to see Dame respectfully, Jay, respectfully. I want to see Dame play some competitive basketball. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going with the Hawks on that one. And then last game of the night, Jay, is the Clippers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you got on that one, my brother.
I'm gonna go with the Clippers in that one as well. They're just gritty. I think Tyronn Lue's an underrated coach. And he always motivates his guy. And I think they like just being that underdog and being the hunter rather than being hunted. So I think the Clippers are kind of enjoying that night to night. And that's why they're coming in with that chip on their shoulder, ready to win. So I'm gonna go with the Clippers in maybe you want to call it upset, but I just think they're the better team between the two.
Okay. I'm actually going to swerve, Jay. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know Cat's been under a lot of pressure. The whole league's been on him. So I think Cat's got to step up and have a big game, man. But all right, Jay. So then we got a really good slate of games coming up for Monday, man. But Jay, for now, I think this was a great episode, brother. We talked about a lot, covered a lot, played some games, talked about some of these games we saw over the weekend. But do you got any last words to say before we close off here and into this 2020 first episode of 2022, Jay?
Nah, 2022. We appreciate the support, man. Great episode as well. Again, my brother. And appreciate everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get at us on Instagram. On Twitter at Clutch Talk Pod. That's CLUTCHPOD. And just get at us, man. We'd love to get your feedback. If you have questions, concerns, suggestions of what you want to hear us talk about and cover on the show, man, we're all ears. If you want to show us some love, you want to show us some hate, we all for it. We want all the smoke, man. So just come with us. 22, we're coming different, man. We appreciate you, appreciate the support. We appreciate you listening, watching, wherever you're getting our podcast, man. So that's all I gotta say, man.
Man, Jay,
2022.
I can't put it in no better words, man. We back 2022. Let's go at it, Jay. This is our year. Let's take over, brother.
Sir. Clutch Talk family. We out.